There's an interesting thing about heating your home here in Northwest Florida. Most of these homes that are in this area have heat pumps. Heat pumps are very effective during the summertime and provide relatively low energy cost for the amount of work that they're doing. But during the winter time, they have a lot more problems. The heat pump is not very effective in cold temperatures. Now, when I say cold temperatures, I'm talking about in the 30s. A lot of times heat pumps, they'll work a lot harder than they should in order to keep the house warm, meaning that your electricity bill is going to be really high that month. So one possible solution is a wood-burning fireplace that has a blowing stove. If you operate one of these right, it can really significantly reduce the prices that you pay in electric costs during the winter. For my family, we have about a 2,200 square foot house, which I've learned to heat entirely by this wood-burning stove. And there's a few things that you need to know about the operation of wood-burning stoves to make sure that you can heat your house properly. And most of these things are things that I've just learned over the years. Number one, well, let me just open the fire and show you a few things to begin with. Number one, all fires need three things in order to burn: fuel, heat, and oxygen. So when we operate the stove, we need to make sure that the stove is getting a good amount of all three. Here, I've set the logs and made sure that they're dry, and made sure that they have that they're actually warm, that they were taken inside sometime before it got really cold. Just a little time to warm up. I turned the heater completely off to the house, the central heating system to the house, because I don't want smoke to come out into the house when the system cuts on. So I've had the fire going here. Now let me show you what the adjustments are to make sure that the house is heated. When you close the doors, you need to make sure that oxygen is actually coming in. So these dials are set to make sure that an appropriate amount of oxygen is coming in. And then to make sure that the heat stays within the stove and not all of it goes up the chimney, I set this damper to where it is mostly closed, not fully closed, or else you're going to have smoke inside your house. But just mostly closed to where smoke can still get out, but it traps quite a bit of the heat inside. As I do this, this whole stove starts to heat up. And as it heats up, then I can turn on the blower. The blower takes in the air from some vents and then pushes it out with the blower on the others. Right now I'm feeling warm air that is probably 110 degrees coming out of here right now. Pretty soon this top part of the stove, in fact already is, so hot that you can't even touch it because the heat is just building within because this damper is closed. You can run this all night, and if you set the amount of oxygen that the fire is getting, make sure it has plenty of fuel, and make the oxygen to where it's getting a regulated amount, it can last pretty close to all night. And you only have to worry about it before you go to bed and right when you get up in the morning. So that's a quick tutorial on wood stoves here in Northwest Florida. Pretty good. There's a few recommendations I have as far as using the stove that I didn't say last night that I thought I'd bring up this morning. One is that the wood burning stove tends to do better, at least ours does, if we run it several nights in a row. And that's just because it's not really a system to where
You want to run the fire one night and then the next day use your central heat. Because for our system, it's just best that the fire's completely out, the fire grow completely cold before we turn on the central heat. And so one thing to keep in mind there. We'll keep ours running for days. Another thought is safety. You want to make sure that the chimney is clean of any debris or silt that might have built up in there. That stuff can be a fire hazard. And another safety tip is make sure you know what you're doing if you're going to keep that fire going in the stove while you're gone. You just need to know exactly how your fire operates and all the risks associated there. I'm Rob of Rob Brooks Realty, and we're your home source of the Emerald Coast.